Hello friends, I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. As I mentioned yesterday, we went to a concert last night. I am still very, very tired. I woke up kind of late because we got home at like 1:30 or so. It was a good show. It was a very good show. It was in Well, it was in McKees Rocks, PA, which is like it's Pittsburgh. It's a cool little venue called the Roxian, which is like an old theater venue that's been like kind of restored, and they took all the seats out, and now there's a small pit area. I mean, very small, like maybe 10 or 12 feet, and then a floor that's raised like 5 feet, and there's a balcony. Like it's an old theater, like a stage theater. Very cool space. I've been there a few times before, and I very much like it. And it's kind of, though it's in Pittsburgh, you don't have to go through the tunnels to get to it, so you can get there pretty easily. Anyway, it was a great show. The main reasons that we went were for Frank Turner and Amigo the Devil. We like both of those groups very, very much. And this is the first time seeing Frank Turner with the Sleeping Souls, the full band. So if you haven't listened to Frank Turner, I would suggest try Frank Turner. He's been doing this for a very long time. He said last night 26 years. He's my age. We're very close in age. And last night was his 2,880 something show, 86 show or something like that. He's kept track over the years. So it was very cool. He's with the Sleeping Souls. It's like a full production, backup guitar, keyboards, drummer, bassist. We were supposed to see him last year. He joked about that a good bit last night, that he came to Pittsburgh last year, was going to play at the Roxian last year with the Interrupters, and ended up, he did sound check and then collapsed. He had COVID and got very, very sick, so he couldn't play. So we finally got to see him with the full band. We've seen him on the Flogging Molly cruise, but it's always been just him and Matt, the keyboard player, like a duo called the Frank Turner Duo. And so this was interesting to see with the whole sound. So it was really cool. Amigo the Devil, still love Amigo the Devil. He has a whole lot of songs that I absolutely love. He has a lot of goofy songs about like serial killers, and it's okay, but he has a lot of songs that I really, really love, and that was fun. However, the openers. So there was 4 acts in this show. Bridge City Sinners, which I have heard Bridge City Sinners before. I'd never seen them live. If you like them, you like them. They're a band that I like a couple of their songs. And I can tell you that I prefer their studio recordings to live. It's really weird. Usually, I'm more interested in live performances, but it felt like sonically they had banjo, mandolin, fiddle, steel guitar, and a upright bass, and that mix in a live environment, it didn't come out well. Going through a PA, it was just muddly. It was weird. But I do like their songs. I would rather listen to the records. And the other opener. So I had never heard of these two people. Micah Schnabel and Vanessa Jean Speckman. Wow. Those two, they came out and Micah played a song, and it was different. It was mostly spoken word with some guitar, and that's kind of their whole set. It was more like a poetry reading. It was very, thought-provoking if you really understood what they were talking about, but a lot of times it was kind of like, I don't even understand the words you're saying. It was very strange. It was a very, very strange opening. it was kind of like watching an art installation, right? Like it was just like, is this a this is a different kind of performance. This is more like a stage performance, not a musical performance. It was very bizarre. That's really all I can say. But ultimately, the whole evening was super enjoyable. We took my oldest. She's a huge fan of Amigo the Devil. She went with us last year when we were supposed to see Frank Turner and the Interrupters, and only got to see the Interrupters and a punk band that doesn't exist anymore. They called in some locals, and it was a good time. It's about an hour and a half drive to Pittsburgh. That's pretty much my only option. That's unfair, but other options are I could go to Morgantown. There's a couple of bars in Morgantown that will host live music. This is West Virginia. We don't necessarily have a hotbed of talent here, and it's not. You're gonna. It's a really mixed bag, right? It sucks to say it, but it's just like I want to go support, but often, even the kind of the punk house here, it's more just country, western. Like it's just not my music. Like there's not a whole lot of options to go see good punk, good rock and roll. It's mostly cover bands, and I wish I could say we have a really strong music scene here. We don't. It's pretty weak. There are some good groups. Don't get me wrong. If you like punk, check out Controlled Chaos. I met Dave. He was on the cruise last year, and they're a local band that's doing really well, and they're fun. They have a lot of energy, but that might be the only local punk band I can name. Yeah, pretty sure it is actually. So there's not a lot of my scene. It doesn't exist here. And in the early 2000s, there was a pretty big screamo scene here, but it was all like you had to know people because it was all basement stuff. There was no venue for it. And I didn't know any. I knew a couple of people, so I never really got to go to shows. I got to go to practices, but I never got to go to shows. But there's just not really a good kind of underground scene here or punk scene. It's mostly just kind of folksy, bluegrassy, which I like. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoy that kind of music. But when I go out to hear live music, I'm really looking for energy. I'm really looking for like, let's freaking go, And that was last night. Frank Turner and the Sleeping Souls. I mean, it was let's freaking go for an hour and a half. Hour and a half set. Just rocked. It was awesome. Good times. Live music is so important to me, and it's just I don't get to do it that often. And part of that is where I live, and part of that is just like time and money. I could go to Pittsburgh a few times a week and see live shows, and maybe I should. The truth is maybe I should go support local groups more, and go to these venues and try to find good local spots, and I just haven't done that yet. That's probably true. What do you think? What do you like when you go to see live music? Anything important stick out to you? Whatever your genre. What makes live music special? Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is vituperative, an adjective meaning a person who is bitter and angry and readily takes that anger out on those around them. Vituperative. To an unreasonable degree, George smashed one of Jessica's prized dishes for every one of his old golf clubs she had given away when cleaning out the garage. Vituperative. Vituperative. Oh boy, do I know several vituperative people, and I've never known that word before, and now I'm going to use it.